The sad truth is most people fail in business, and I've been one of them. I'm sure you've heard the sad and shocking statistics that almost 50% of new businesses fail in the first 5 years of operation, and 65% fail in the first 10 years of operation. But I think it's rarely because, people are lazy or stupid. I think it has a lot to do with mindset and discipline and truly just not knowing what you're getting into as a business owner. Based on my personal experience and from what I've seen from other people, I think there are 5 main reasons that most people fail. But don't worry, I'll explain what those are, but also I'll tell you how to overcome them. So let's dive into it. First reason most people fail in business is because they come into it thinking it's easier than a job. Now, do not get this wrong. Running a business is often way harder than working for somebody else. And I know there are challenging jobs, there are demanding jobs, but you have to be everything as a business owner. You're not just one employee, you're all the employees. And because of that, it really takes grit, it takes discipline, and it takes strategy. And most importantly, it takes self-discipline, particularly when nobody else is watching. See, when you're a business owner, there's no boss. There's no one to check your work, to check your progress. There's no one to remind you of deadlines. If you slack off, nobody notices until it's too late. Your clients, your customers, or you finally at some point are going to realize that you've been slacking off, and it's probably too late by that point because things have spiraled out of control. The fact of the matter is, if you can't lead yourself, your business is not going to last very long. Second reason people fail is because they hate their job and they think that starting a business is the answer. Now, this might surprise you, but not everyone should start a business. And I'll say that again, not everyone should start a business. A lot of people think, hey, I hate my 9 to 5. I should start something. I should start a business and I'll be my own boss. Throw a middle finger to my current boss. I'll be the guy. Nobody's going to tell me what to do, right? But that thinking can often be the wrong move. Being an entrepreneur, it means doing every job. You're going to be doing administration. You're going to be doing sales. You're going to be doing marketing, your support, your everything, at least in the beginning, and probably for some time. So if you hate your job, just consider maybe you need another job, not your own business. It's a monumental amount of work to start a business. Third reason people fail in business is avoiding sales, trying to avoid sales. And I honestly believe this is the fastest way to fail. Let's be real. If you hate sales, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle hard in business. And that's because sales is the foundation of every single business, whether you want to pretend it's not, it is. If you're not willing to learn it, then I suggest you just don't start. You have to be involved in sales. Now, I speak from experience here. I have tried to avoid sales with almost every business I've started because I don't like sales. I don't like being called a salesman. I don't like the stereotype around sales. And I just wanted to have a business without actually doing sales. And unfortunately, I pretty much failed every time I tried to avoid sales because I refuse to acknowledge that sales is a fundamental part of every business, right? Now, the only time that sales has truly come naturally for me is when I was running my charter bus company. And that's because I loved it. I truly enjoyed the business. I thrived in the business. I was really just having a good time, working with people who wanted to be there. I believed in the service. I believed that it was of value. And because of that, I didn't even feel like I was doing sales. I was just naturally speaking enthusiastically about my business and sharing the service that I offered. And it was very easy to do. And outside of that, it's if you don't have that passion, then it can be a bit of a struggle for some of us who aren't really, salesy, right? And I think that's a key. When you believe in what you're offering, then sales, it just becomes a conversation. It's not a pitch. You don't feel like you're forcing anything on anyone, right? But fundamentally, you can't just want to make money in a business. You have to care about solving a problem, and that's when sales gets easy. And unfortunately, it took me many, many years to actually believe that and accept it. Fourth thing that causes people to fail is coming into it without a clear vision. Most people, they jump in and they basically wing it, and then they wonder why they're not getting anywhere. You need a clear roadmap when you're starting a business. You need to know what success looks like for you. You need to know where your milestones are and what they look like. So, what does the next level look like? You're obviously going to start out and you're going to have this kind of getting set up phase. What does the next phase look like? And what marker is going to show you that you're moving to the next phase? You need to understand what all of those markers are along the entire journey so that you can see them when they happen, and then you know what you're going to do after that. So for example, my next financial milestone is a dollar figure that I've already set and written down so I can see it all the time and refer back to it. And when I hit it, I will retire my wife from her job and begin investing in real estate. My next financial milestone is also written down. And when I hit it, I will start a nonprofit organization, which has been a passion project of mine. At the same time, we will move to a larger piece of property where I plan to partner on a permaculture farming project. My next financial milestone after that will see me place people into leadership of all my ventures who are far better than I am, and I will spend half the year in warmer climates. So that's a quick summary of my vision, and without it, I would just be grinding blindly. So you need to have a vision and basically a roadmap laid out, and you know what each step along the way is going to be. And number 5 thing that causes people to fail is thinking small, which results in quitting too soon. People often give up way too early, especially if they don't have a roadmap, if they don't have a guide. They give up way too early, usually because they think too small. They want fast wins, and business ownership is not a game of quick hits. It's the long game. You win by showing up consistently, not by going viral. It's a fluke, and it's random, and it's great when it happens, but you cannot plan on that. Small wins stacked daily, that's what adds up. So that's the top 5 things, but I've got kind of a bonus 6th reason that causes people to fail in business, and that's chasing success instead of creating value. One mistake I see all the time, and honestly I've made it too, is starting a business just to chase success. But here's the problem. Success in business, it's actually kind of rare, and it certainly only comes after a lot of hard work, and there are no guarantees that it's going to work out, right? So if you're doing this just to be successful, just to have some, lavish life and an image, then you're going to burn out fast. Success doesn't come just from wanting success. It comes from creating something valuable that people are willing to pay for. If you're not solving a real problem or offering real value, you don't really have a business. At the core of it, you need to create something that people feel has more value than the price tag attached to it. That's when they're willing to share their money with you in return for your goods or services. Don't make that mistake. It's not about chasing success, it's about creating value. So that's what I got for you today. Those are some things that I wish that I had heard before I started. I wish somebody would come in and kind of slap me around a little bit and knock some sense into me, but hopefully this helps somebody else. I'm still building. I'm still learning myself. But these are some things that hopefully help you in your journey. If you are building something too, or you're thinking of starting, tell me where you're at. Drop it in the comments and share it with me, and let's have a conversation. And if you're still figuring this out just like me, then consider liking, subscribing, following the journey, and let's support each other and do this together. I'll see you in the next one.